podcast. Yesterday I told you that today's program was going to cover the RFID chip, okay, and basically what the chip is, it's a small implant that's placed inside under the skin of your hand. Now this is going to be rolled out by 2017 by all the governments of the world as a joint venture. Now they're trying to tell us that it's nothing to worry about and that it will be beneficial for society, because once the chip is scanned, it'll have your medical history. If you're on medication, it'll be able to tell them what type of medication you are. It'll have your bank details, your financial details, your work history, your social security number, your national insurance number, all this sort of stuff. Okay, so all you have to do is just wave your hand and you'll be able to access money from your account and this sort of thing. But I disagree. Now, whether you believe in the Bible or not, okay, it is to date one of the most accurate books that was ever wrote. And in the Bible it says that every man shall be known by his mark, okay, and no man will be able to buy or sell without the mark. Okay, so think about that. If you refuse to get this chip, if you're a real hardline Christian and you refuse to get this chip, you won't be able to get money. You won't be able to access your wages from your bank. If you're on benefits or social security, you won't be able to access that. You'll have no money for food, you'll have no money for commodities, nothing. So it has some serious implications. Okay, so I'm just going to talk you through some of the facts about the RFID chip, and we'll get cracking on them with the rest of the program. So the RFID chip is about the size of a grain of rice and it gets placed in your hand, as I told you. Right, now current ratings for the app report on RFID chips and cancer raises concern public and patient, 87 ratings, health professionals, 19 ratings, and a report by the Associated Press, AP, reveals that cancer experts were concerned when they revealed a collection of animal studies suggested that the implanted RFID microchips may cause cancer. There's one to raise an eyebrow. Now, although the expert says that there is no considerable difference between humans and animals, it's easier to cause cancer in a laboratory mouse than in a human, said one veterinary oncologist. For example, there was no sufficient concern for them to call for more long-term control studies to be done on larger animals and possibly humans as well. So, and this study was done back in the 90s, 97. Now, RFID, short radio frequency ID microchips, are identity chips used in a range of applications, from identity tagging, library books, to cars, to pets. Now more recently, people, and in animals, people, they are interested, are inserted under the skin, as it says. Now, RFID chips usually contain two parts: an integrated circuit that stores information, and a receiver transmitter, also called the transponder, that senses when an appropriate scanning device is nearby and then transmits the radio frequency message to the device. The scanner picks up the radio signal and reads the information on the chip. Now, first used in animals, for instance, to help find pets, lost pets and stuff, RFID chips were approved for humans by Food and Drug Administration, FDA, in 2004. They were hailed as a medical breakthrough because they could be used to provide access to important information like medical reports in situations where patients are not able to do that for themselves if they're knocked out or unconscious. Now, a typical example that is cited in the case of an Alzheimer's patient who gets lost and ends up in a hospital where the staff can't understand what's wrong with them. So they scan the patient's arm and get immediate readout of the essential medical information. Now, this is trying to say that this is the benefits of it. Now, the devices used in humans are made by Verichip Corp, a subsidiary of Applied Digital Solutions of Derby Beach, Florida. Some 2,000 chips have already been implanted in humans worldwide to date, and according to AP, the company who insists devices are safe see the target for medical monitoring as for 45 million Americans. Okay, and Scott Silverman, chairman of CEO of Verichip Corp, said in response to the question posed by AP that the company did not know about many studies that resulted in malignant tumours in lab rats. He says that humans are completely different from animals. I don't think so. Okay guys, I realised that was a bit of a mouthful for you to all take in, so I'll break it down in layman's terms for you. Okay, now the chip is about the size of a grain of rice. It gets implanted in your right hand or forehead. Okay, it's a receiver as well as a transmitter. Now the transmission side of things is it will transmit information about yourself, your medical history, your banking details, your Facebook profile, your Twitter account, everything. So are you happy knowing that there's some computer nerd sitting over in China or America or Russia that can get access to all your information, what websites you visit, all this sort of stuff. Now they're saying that it's going to be beneficial for you because they'll be able to tell your medical records if you can't speak for yourself, and you can walk into your favourite pub and the barman can swipe your hand and they'll know exactly what drink you want. You don't even have to ask them. You can swipe your hand at the ATM machine and get your money instantly and all this sort of carry on. Okay, now the transmission side of things, that's dangerous because anybody with a smartphone that has knowledge of encryption can basically sit beside you on the bus or in the supermarket or even just walk past you and they'll be able to obtain all your information, including your banking details, which doesn't hold up very well for yourself. Now they're rolling this chip out for everybody to have it by 2017 under the Obamacare administration. Now Obamacare is going to link up with the EU and basically they're going to become one. It's all part of the NWO, the New World Order regime, and they're going to try and have it in place by 2017. Now if you don't accept the chip, as I told you, you can't get money, you can't get paid, so they're going to force you to take the chip. Now, I'm not going to get all biblical on you, but I mentioned about the Bible. He who has the mark, or he who doesn't have the mark cannot buy or sell. So it's going to leave everybody in an impossible situation. Now, would you be happy with some computer nerd sitting somewhere in China or anywhere from the world being able to access your Twitter account, your Facebook account, your banking details, your medical history, your favourite sites, what web pages you visited? The government will be able to track you anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter where you are. They're going to be able to get access to your Facebook account, who you're speaking to, what messages you're sending, what websites you're watching, all this sort of stuff. Now, there's a little small capsule within this RFID chip that has a cyanide. I wonder why. Okay, now if people do not comply to the government regime, the fascist government regime, they can from a computer they can burst this chip inside you and it'll leak the cyanide into your blood and effectively kill you. So they will literally have your life in their hands. So Aaron Russo asked Rockefeller, "What are you doing this for?" Rockefeller, one of the richest men in the world, replies very dauntingly, "By having this war on terror, you can never win it. So you can always keep taking people's liberties away. The media can convince everybody that it's real." Okay, Aaron Russo repeated the question, "What are you doing it for?" And Rockefeller says, "The goal is to get everybody in the world chipped with an RFID chip." So that says a lot, guys. Now, I'm not going to harp on too much about it. I won't be taking the mark, I can tell you that. And I'll die of starvation if I have to. There's no way I'm going to enter it into my God's kingdom, my beliefs, with the mark of the beast on my hand. Now, that concludes today's radio broadcast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a little short video here for you to watch, and it's the sugar-coated media's way of telling you that everything's fine, but it's not fine, guys. Anybody that has any moral sense at all will not accept this chip. Well, until tomorrow's broadcast, keep well and keep safe.
Finally from us this evening, technology on the cutting edge. We were interested today to hear that more than 100 law enforcement officials in Mexico are having microchips implanted in their arms. The chips allow a person to be scanned, sort of like a cereal box at the supermarket checkout. In Mexico, this will be one more tool in the fight against crime. Here's ABC's John McKenzie.
You've seen it before, right out of Hollywood.
Maybe a little uncomfortable.
A microchip inside the body. A hidden, high-tech identification tag.
They're the access codes to your job spot.
Now, Mexico's Attorney General and 160 of his deputies have had microchips implanted in their arms to control access to the country's new Criminal Investigation Center. It is to provide access, said the Attorney General, to the right people in exclusive areas where there is valuable, sensitive information. The microchip, the size of a grain of rice, is injected under the skin and gives off a low-frequency radio wave. A scanner reads each chip's identification number to verify an official's security clearance.
The microchip is tamper-proof, it's secure, no one can take your microchip and use it to their advantage to gain access to your facility.
The chip, developed by Applied Digital Solutions, is similar to those used in the U.S. to identify and return runaway dogs. In humans, it can have several uses.
Little stick.
The chips can also be programmed to carry medical information. The one in this patient details his blood type, allergies, and the fact he has Alzheimer's disease. The device is now awaiting approval from the Food and Drug Administration. Some researchers are developing microchips for use in the home, so that wearing one can turn on lights and open doors. Hands-free. The next step, say researchers, is developing an implantable chip with a global positioning system to track people miles away, whether kidnapped or lost, just as cars can now be traced. A kind of LoJack for the body. John McKenzie, ABC News, New York.
That is our report on World News Tonight. I'm Peter Jennings. We hope you have a good evening. Good night.